you are on a recording. Check this out. So it is SuperMex Nation, and this is a regular show. Only difference is I'm recording this show in advance because today is Monday. I'm literally just finishing up right after what we did on the President's Day special, and I'm heading out of town to visit and conduct some business in Boston. So I'm going to be gone for the week, and I didn't want to leave empty-handed in terms of what I've got coming out. So this show will air tomorrow on the Tuesday. This show tonight will be recorded and then aired tomorrow. And then going forward, I'm going to have to get a little more comfortable with doing the recording thing because people have busy schedules other than my own. Coordinating those schedules is not easy, etc. KP's got, production. I'm not the only person on the planet. He's got other things that he's got to take care of. And then also about, not just for convenience and ease, but also for creation of content that is scheduled and consistent. And so we're going to have to be able to do that as an added tool in the toolkit. So for tonight, what you are seeing is a recording. But it's all good because it's the same stuff anyway, right? You're still going to get the material and the meat. It'll just be recording. You'll see it tomorrow, today for you watching now, but you'll see it on, the day after. And so tonight's show is something that I'd been promising. I've got like literally 5, 6, 7 shows that I've not done, been lagging, but I'm going to get them all done, eventually before this month is out or into March. To wrap up the 2019 year, and we're already kind of there, right? We're in 2 months into it. Wrap up the 2019 year in a lot of different ways. We've already done some music. We've done movies. We've done, other social and cultural things. But we still have a few more to do. And I don't want to look back 20 years from now and say I didn't do that because I just lazy and lagged on it a little bit. So tonight's show on SuperMex Nation is going to be on something that I had promised earlier. We did the top 10 movies of 2019, and we did the top movies with Liana Jean on the decade of the 2010s. So tonight, we're doing the top 10 movies of 2019 streamed, non-theatrical release. They didn't come out, big budget flicks, etc. And for the most part, they are all entirely Netflix movies. Original, created content by Netflix, the streaming service. All right, so there are others. I mean, we can do HBO and Showtime, and maybe we will, but not right now. But I had promised that we wanted to do it because when I put together my list of top 10 movies of 2019, there were some omissions. There were a few movies that weren't there. And it wasn't because I didn't think those movies were good. It's because in my SuperMex brain, left-right criteria, I was creating separate and distinct lists that met different standards or criteria. So I didn't include The Irishman and Marriage Story, both of which had multiple Oscar nominations and attention. A-list actors, I think that's off the charts. I mean, look at Irishman by itself. I mean, come on. And then Marriage Story's got my girl, and then The Ascendant, Adam Driver with an Academy Award win for Laura Dern in her supporting role. So it's not that those movies aren't at that caliber or quality. By all means, no, they are. But they're coming out in a different distributed form, streamed. And I was reminded that Marriage Story was released in some theaters. But for the most part, it was a Netflix original created movie, and that's why it's on my list tonight. I'm giving you a little bit up front, but I wanted to specify and give you particulars on the why. The Irishman or Marriage Story, maybe something else, wasn't on my top 10 list of 2019. Because those movies were the movies I get up and I go to the theater, maybe get something to eat, get some popcorn and a drink, and I kick back in the big theater and watch the big screen. That's why it was a little different. So I did those earlier shows with Liana Jean Manabog, little crime partner now, silent assassin. Helped me because she is in production, direction. She's been in and around film or television of some kind her entire life. Crime partner of KP's, and that's always good. So we didn't do that because I had originally and always intended to separate the categories because, ladies and gentlemen, you are quite literally getting a lot more content than ever before. There's so much more content, So much more ability for people to be creative and get their product out, whatever the hell it is, whether it's a 5-minute short or a 3-hour monster like The Irishman. It's all there for you if you really want to go get it. I'm saying go get it because I'm all for that. I'll support it 100% entirely. Go after it. I think that's necessary. For art to be art and not just imitate life, art has to be supported, art has to be funded, art has to be not just appreciated, but fully actualized in the form of you, meaning the viewer, the listener, the watcher, the fan, giving your interest and your attention to all of its varied forms. You like that? To all of its varied forms, because that quite literally is what art is about. All of its varied forms. Okay, so before we get started on tonight's show again is the top 10 movies on Netflix, original content. Original, produced, and created Netflix movies from 2019. So before I get there, I've got something that we're going to talk about real quick before we get into the meat of the show. So I spent some time on the last trip that I took back to my hometown, place where I was born, Indio, California, in the valley, the other valley, another valley, El Barrio Imperial, the Imperial Valley. And I like to tell people I was born there, raised there a little bit, and then eventually after my pop died, we moved north to my mom's family that was located in Central California, Fresno, which I hail from now. I traded one valley for another. And what does that mean? It's not just a physical geographic location. It was about fruits and vegetables. For those of you guys out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let me flesh that out for you a little bit. I like to joke that in this valley, Central California, Fresno, fig, chili, cotton, grapes, you name it, I picked it. Citrus, a lot of citrus on the east side, lemons, oranges, etc. On the east side of our valley. But that is after I did the other valley, melons, cantaloupes, honeydews, dates, and other vegetables and fruits that I picked or I remember as a little boy and my parents did when I was young. A lot of fruit and vegetables in both valleys, the Imperial Valley and the Central California Valley. And I remember those things because I knew what it was to work. Even though I didn't have to do half as much as my mother and father did, I know what it was. I saw it firsthand and I did it firsthand. So one valley for the next. So anyway, so when I was in Indio, hometown, Coachella, went and made the rounds, visited some relatives, and began conducting some business and building program, building show. So on air, like right now, I'm going to give a shout out to the young blood in that valley. His name's Chris Reyes. He is a tat artist, ink artist, and just I like everything this young blood's got. He's inquisitive, not just for his particular, job or way of life, his method of making money and surviving, which is ink art, but he's a big fan of SuperMex Nation and what we do on the political and the social end. He's inquisitive. He wants to know more. Point being, he's not just some dumb kid that's over there creating some tattoos and goes home at the end of the night. Listen, he's a young blood who's got family, he's raising kids, he's earning a living, building a business, and he's extremely creative. He's extremely creative. I highly recommend, and we're going to put this up in a second here, but I highly recommend you look into this guy. So I have a lot of friends and family, a lot of family. If you're watching tonight or if you see this, you live in the desert, you live in that valley, Imperial Valley. So when I spent some time with Chris, he was all shocked, like, hey, I rolled up on his doorstep, literally out of nowhere, like, hey, you're SuperMex. That's who I am. So I'm going to eventually do a tat, I won't tell you too much, but I'm going to eventually do a tat with Chris specifically, because I love patronizing the people that take care of me. Take care of the people that take care of you. Golden rule, baby. It's a simple one. Okay, so Chris, when I was there, just real easy, I was just going to buy a tattoo from him to give out as a gift certificate to my loyal fans, family and fans and friends in the desert. I don't expect Barbara or Mike or some of the others in other parts of the country to fly to Indio, California, Coachella Valley to get a tattoo. However, we do have friends and family that are on my network, my show, my program, that are from the Valley. And maybe one of you might want to get a tat. You're going to go to Chris, because this is what I've got here for you. This is a $100 gift certificate that Chris has given me to give to a member of SuperMex Nation as a show of appreciation and love for our show. You got to love that. That is good stuff. So this young blood has given me $100 for an original tattoo that he will create and put on your body for a lucky winner of this tattoo. So what I'm going to do is, it's going to be kind of hard to pick, but for anybody that sees this, if you know somebody in the Valley, Coachella Valley, Indio, Coachella, 29 Palms, 1,000 Palms, all that area that I grew up in, if you've got somebody that's going to get a tat, I want you to hit me up for this tattoo, or this tattoo gift certificate before it goes. And I don't know where it's going to go, but maybe I'll use it. I want to give this out to a member of SuperMex Nation. I want to give this out to somebody that lives in the Coachella Valley. Everybody got that? So if you're on watching tonight, and I know I have family that watches, some of you do, Chris Reyes, Bloodline Tattoo, has given me a $100 gift certificate to give to a lucky member of SuperMex Nation. There's the logo up on the screen tonight. It's Bloodline Tattoo. The artist is Chris Reyes, and he's given me a $100 gift certificate to give to one lucky member of SuperMex Nation. So any of my family or friends that are in the Valley, Coachella Valley, hit me up, send me a message, comment on this broadcast tonight, and then I will find a way to get this into your hands so you can go hit up Chris, and he can construct some art on your body. Because in SuperMex Nation, we take care of those who take care of us. That's what we do. All right, let's get down to business. Put a lot of work into these things, you know. So there are plenty of original content movies now that are coming out, and it's like, it's a floodgate. All right, this isn't the old days of 20th Century Fox and Warner's, etc. The big studios, the big movie production studios. Indie labels and others are now having the ability to create incredible content without having to put that mega dollar to work. And it's broken up, and I think it's a good thing. It's broken up the ability for a handful, and I'm hoping KP's with me on this one, for a handful of individuals to monopolize an industry and dictate the creativity coming out of that industry. I think it's a good thing, personally. I absolutely do. You have more originality. You have more people invested in a part of creation and art. That is a good thing, whether it's in movies and TV or anything. It's just good for art when those minds are freed up and they're not stifled because they're dictated to and how they're created and how they're produced, how they create their art. That is, by definition, at least in my book, not art. Not art to me. So I really think this is a good thing. Netflix and some of the other streaming services, Hulu, there's the Roku device, you can get all kinds of other apps and stuff. There's always been, or at least in my lifetime, HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, they create original content. HBO's original movies have done extremely well as well. So there's all that. It just means a lot more. So what is the negative into that? You can't watch it all. It's a lot. And I have not been able to, and I actually tried, ladies and gentlemen. I've watched more movies this last year than I think I've watched since I was like in my early 20s. No joke. Maybe because my kids are out of the house and now I've got a little bit of time to play with my wife and we can go watch some stuff. But that's quite literally the truth. I've got more time and I'm making an effort, but I cannot get to it all. There's still a few more. I got to watch Knives Out. Might be one or two others from the Oscar list. I think that's about it. I've watched almost all the Oscar movies. There's just not enough time. So I'm going to do my best to give you stuff that I've seen and tell you that this is good or not good. If it's not on my list, it's not good. Clearly, obviously, that's the simple. But I'm going to give you the stuff that I've seen that I think was good and worth the watch. So maybe that helps you, because that's quite literally what we're doing here. It's going to help you pare down a list like, okay, there's all this stuff to watch. What kind of, well, you know what, SuperMex said this one's not bad. I kind of like, let me take a look at that one. I'm trying to save you some time, basically, a little bit of time. So there will be on this particular list some movies. I did a list of half that I have not seen, that I want to, that I've heard about, or that I've been told about, or somebody's seen, or there's a review. I've done a lot of work on this. There's half that I have not seen that I'm going to see, and then there's a half that I have seen. And they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes and stripes because they're all different. But those are the movies that kind of stuck with me, and I think you need to take a look at as the 2019 year wrapped up, and now we're into a new decade. Okay, so that's the meat and potatoes of it. We're going to run through the list. Not a lot of X's and O's here, not a lot of explanation, not a lot of big board. I'm just going to give them to you. This is my top 10, or excuse me, this is my 10 to watch or go view on Netflix if you are so Netflix inclined. You would have the ability to go take a look at these. These are all on Netflix as of right now. Okay, first things first. So we're going to start at the top. Number 10. Number 10 is, let's see, and KP's going to get high speed and pull these mugs up for me. So number 10 is Tell Me Who I Am. It is a movie from this past year. I have not seen it, but I've heard some really good things about it. It's about lying and consequences of lying. So that intrigued me because, you know, like, okay, I gotta see where that goes. It could be a semantic thing, right? You know, you get into like the wording. Here's why, real quick, and then I'm gonna move on. Do you watch TV or watch programming now, you watch the political now, and say to yourself, okay, that person just lied, and I know they lied, but what's the consequence of it? Of just saying something that you know is either not true or a half-truth. What are the consequences? That's kind of I see that all the time. I'm almost like immunized to that, but I'm going to watch that movie because of it, because it has something to do with the semantic argument of lying and consequence. I'm going to watch that movie. Okay, that's number 10. Number 9, we're going to run through these kind of quick. When They See Us, number 9. So you got that movie up? All right, good. We're going to move on. Number 8, The Two Popes. I still have not seen it. This is an issue for me. Not that one. The Two Popes. This is an issue for me because this is one that was Oscar nominated for some of the acting categories. It's got the Sir, Anthony Hopkins, and it's got Jonathan Pryce, probably will be a Sir. Incredible actor himself. Great English, British method and character actor. Guy's phenomenal. Surprised he has, you know, he's probably, it's a lot of those guys, they get more attention as they get older because they've done some incredible body of work and they're consistently good all the time. So The Two Popes, I'm going to take a look at that one because that one's left over. I apologize. I have not seen it. Left over. All right, and then this next one is also a leftover. Liana Jean's probably going to kick me for this one because I told her I would watch it because it was on her list. The number 7 is Marriage Story, a Netflix original. Okay, so I've got to watch this one. I'm going to say it. I said it a bunch of times. Got a crush on Scarlett Johansson. She was my most important or top actress of the 2010s for me. And Adam Driver is really doing work. He's hitting his wheelhouse right now. And I will say I've got personal interest there. The dude is a former Marine who was chosen to enter this field where there aren't a lot of them anymore. This isn't 1930s, 40s, 50s Hollywood where almost every major actor, A-list actor, had served in war for this country. That's kind of gone by the wayside. Not getting into that, don't want to right now, but I think you get the point. So Adam Driver is a former Marine who has chosen this field with which to pursue his life and his art, and I got to support the dude. And oh yeah, by the way, he's a pretty damn good actor, and he's only going to get better. Okay, so that's Marriage Story. I will watch that sometime soon, probably not this week because I'm going to be gone, but Marriage Story is a must-get to. I recommend that you guys watch that as well. Again, Laura Dern won for supporting actress. Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver were both nominated for both of their roles in this respective movie. So just A-list stuff off the charts here. Okay, so those are 5 that I have not seen, 5 that I will see, that I'm going to make the effort and log in some time to watch these. And again, ladies and gentlemen, they're all on Netflix. I need some Netflix love. That's what I need. I need Netflix to give me a... Man, I forgot my drink. Man, I'm really lagging tonight. So I forgot my drink. But Netflix is getting the love tonight because I'm showcasing their network and the original content that they put out for this last year, 2019. And I think we all need not dare say that 2020 will probably be even more heavy in content. They're just upscaling. They're making more money. They're signing exclusive contracts and deals with A-list actors that are producing and directing and being a part of, acting in these original content movies One sidebar real quick. Jason Bateman signed a contract with Netflix. He is doing quite a bit, but one that I really love is a television show. We are going to do that too. But a television show called Ozark. And I won't get into too much detail about it, but it's Jason Bateman and Laura Linney. Laura Linney's, she's incredible. I mean, she's an incredible actress. So Jason Bateman and Laura Linney in an original series called Ozark on Netflix. And I think it's only 2 seasons. So they're getting ready for a third. And trust me, both of those seasons were like, whoa. They will wake you up. They're significant and serious in terms of what they put out in their artistic creativity for the program. So anyway, Jason Bateman, another A-list actor and producer, director, etc., signed with Netflix. So there's more coming out. Bottom line, Netflix is going to be doing a lot going forward. The only thing that's going to regulate them is the level of competition and the volume of competition they get from other streaming and who knows, maybe some other type of source distributed, created. Okay, so there's a lot there. So those are the 5. Excuse me, I've got one more. Velvet Buzzsaw. KP, put that one up, please. So there's 5 there. My apologies. This one I've just seen recently, and it's, I think, Jake Gyllenhaal and some other A-list actors and actresses. This one looked really, really interesting to me. So this one's at the top of my must-see list in addition to those others on Netflix. So those are the 5 that I have not seen that I'm recommending because I'm going to go take a look. Tell Me Who I Am, When They See Us, The Two Popes, Marriage Story, and Velvet Buzzsaw. Okay, now the 5 that I have seen. 5 seen. Not in a particular order, kind of in a particular order, but these are the 5 best or 5 movies. Here's the thing. I don't say they're best if I have not seen them myself. Okay? That's kind of one of my built-in criteria for recommending to you some movies that I think are really good. I can't say these others are really good, even though I've heard things about them, but I've not seen them. So at the very least, I do not want to be disingenuous or devolve to the disingenuous because I haven't seen them and I'm just talking or maybe I read a review. No. I have to watch these and I have to see these. So these 5 I have seen. So I'm going to give you number 5, and you're going to chuckle. But number 5 is The Dirt. Now why? Is it because it's Motley Crue and the story of their rise or their whatever? No, not at all. Because I do like Motley Crue. They're one of my all-time favorite bands, believe it or not. Ripley's, not the movie, not the show. So, The Dirt. I had not seen anything like it on Netflix until I saw this movie. I think the comments were it's going to get dirtier, grungier, sleazier, whatever that means. Sleazy's not always bad. It's tongue-in-cheek sometimes. But it's about rock and roll, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And it's an original created product by Netflix. And there are more and more now artists, musicians, and other that are coming directly to Netflix to do their story or to do original content with them, just like actors are doing right now. More of them are going to go to Netflix and Hulu and other streaming services. So open that up. Here it comes. But I'm putting this one on there because I had never seen anything like that on Netflix. It was different. And it just so happened to be a band that I like. The Crew. So Motley Crue, The Dirt. That was 2019. That is my number 5. That's not a kids a kids watch, so make sure you're not showing kids. But it's not pornographic or anything, but it's not clean. So get a look at that. If anything, it's lighthearted and funny, and you'll learn a little bit more about Motley Crue. It wasn't a bad story. It was kind of funny, and I liked it. So number 5, The Dirt. Okay, so number 4, sneaking up on you. I know I've said this about this one before. Number 4 is Triple Frontier. Triple Frontier. Now, I don't have my notes in front of me because I wrote all this stuff down and I left it on the counter. I didn't put it in my folder. Or not my folder, but my clipboard here. But watch this. This came out on Netflix. It's original content. It's Ben Affleck, Oscar Isaac, Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy, which I watched. Pedro Pascal, who's now the Mandalorian. He was Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones. He's bucking real hard right now. Pedro Pascal, Chilean actor. He's pretty good. I like this guy a lot. So this group, there's the other one, Headland. Okay, so a bunch of A-list actors, kind of under the radar. It's a quick story about Spec Ops, Special Forces guys that are no longer in service, and they pull a job on a cartel in South America to make some money, just to make some money. It's a hell of a flick. It's a really good flick. You'll like it. I mean, it was, I'm a military guy, so I'm going to like it anyway. But I'm not like a massive Ben Affleck fan, like women are, for that reason. I do like the guy. I think he does good stuff. This one was really good. I didn't like Ben Affleck as a Batman, but I like Ben Affleck as this guy right here. It was thoughtful. It was different. It was a different look at Ben Affleck. And then, of course, surrounded by these other really good actors right now that are all current. Oscar Isaac, you know, Star Wars, I can go on and on. Really good stuff going on. Ex Machina, that was a great flick too. So all of this right now, this happened this last year. Triple Frontier, it is worth the watch. Absolutely, trust me. It is a damn good action guy flick. Going over the Andes in a busted up, beat down, not able to make it chopper. That was crazy. It was good, original, and some real thoughtful treatment of what these guys are, special forces, our special forces, and what they do, what their skill set is, and things they have capability of doing. So anyway, I can go on and on. I'm not probably watch it again. It's just a great flick, especially for dudes, man. If you're a guy's guy, go watch Triple Frontier. I don't just recommend it, I'm telling you to go watch it. Triple Frontier, it's on Netflix. Okay, that was number 4. Number 3, I Am Mother. So those of you guys that have been with me for any length of time, any period of time, you know that there are a lot of layers to this onion. All right, I'm a hell of a lot more than what you would think on the surface once you get to know me. So I am all of these things. I am interested in all of these things, and I have interest in a lot of these things. What am I talking about? The movies and the variance in type of movies that I watch is quite literally, you know, the entire gamut of creativity and what's put out. So just from those here, you get a rock and roll flick, cool with that. You get a special forces action guy flick, cool with that. And you got I Am Mother. It is, you know, you would give it the generic sci-fi, but it's also futuristic. It's also social. It's also a look at who we are now, current. It is entirely females. Hilary Swank, who is a you know, pretty damn good actress of her own, in her own right. It is a good look at a possible future for us. It is sci-fi. It is futuristic. It is current in the things that we're doing to our planet and ourselves now and what we could end up as. And it's done entirely by two females and AI, artificial intelligence, and where AI is going. So I don't want to get too goony and nerdy on you, but I'm all in that. I am all that entirely. So that's a different aspect and a shade of who I am. I Am Mother, a great flick. I didn't even really know about it, but I was flipping through stuff and I was like, took a look at it, and it was definitely worth the watch. So I Am Mother with Hilary Swank on Netflix. So I got as number 2, an easy and obvious one, because I'm gonna kind of snipe you with one. If you watch my show all the time, you might have figured some of these out, or you've heard them before, because I kind of snuck them in on you. So the second one is The Irishman. Big 3-hour-plus monster of a showcase of acting talent and directing talent. You got Martin Scorsese, you've got Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and I like to tell people, not just Joe Pesci, but you got Harvey Keitel. Harvey Keitel's badass too. That guy's legit, man. I mean, forever. He should be named in the same breath as the others, because he's been around equally as long, by the way, as Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci. Listen, Harvey Keitel was in some of the very early stuff with Robert De Niro, I think Taxi Driver and some others. Harvey Keitel's a badass. And who could forget him in, you know, Pulp. Which one?
Reservoir Dogs.
And Pulp Fiction. Yep. Those two, you know, the Quentin Tarantino flicks. And he does come out in quite a bit of Quentin Tarantino flicks. But yeah, I think those two turns in Adequate, you know, KP's point, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, the two earliest of Quentin Tarantino's work. Harvey Keitel is just a damn good actor. So make sure we include that with them in addition to the others. I mean, you got Ray Romano, you got a whole bunch. I mean, I think I'm laughing because there was a little bit of issue with Anna Paquin having a role. Anna Paquin, who's been around a long time. She was Rogue in the X-Men. She was Sookie in True Blood, which I did watch. And she didn't speak a word in the whole movie. She was just the daughter that gave dirty looks to the dad. And, you know, my point is, like, Anna Paquin, Ray Romano. There's just a lot of great actors and actresses in that flick, headlined by, like, a Mount Rushmore of actors. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Harvey Keitel, Joe Pesci. Okay, so great movie. It is long. It is not easy to sit down at one go and do it all. But one interesting sidebar, too, to note about that, other than it being a Martin Scorsese directed story and tale about Jimmy Hoffa, the murder of Jimmy Hoffa, this guy who whacks him out. But in addition to the showcase of the individual actors and Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa and Joe Pesci in his most understated deliverable mob role, the nuance of his and the subtlety of his performance was like something like most of us have never really seen, because we're so used to him, you know, going right to that bat and beating somebody's head in. But the subtlety and the nuance of his work, physically, and not just the verbal, was pretty damn cool. Was really damn cool. But I'm going to point out something else that I didn't know, but that I went on one of those behind-the-scenes things, and they give you a little bit, and then it has a round table of those actors, those badass actors talking. Get this. If you watch, you'll find yourself, if you haven't seen it, if you're going to watch for the first time, like, wait a minute, this movie's jumping around all over in time and space, as movies are now wont to do, W-O-N-T, as they are now wont to do, because the intricacies of how you can weave a story in time and place is now part of a genre now of movies. So that's done, but as they're doing it, you are getting different snapshot looks at each of the actors when they are young, middle-aged, and old. And that was weird. That was crazy, because I'm like, what the hell? I'm looking at it in one scene, looking dirty old, like ancient, and a second later, from a prior scene, looking like in their 20s and 30s. The makeup job, and I know we don't do that enough, but the makeup job, I'm an old face-off nut anyway. For those of you guys that know what the hell that is, I'll face you off. But the makeup job and the ability for those makeup artists to transform in age, and the use of their CGI and technology to alter their visible appearance on the screen was insane. Was absolutely insane. It's actually like under the radar, unappreciated, but when you watch that movie now, if you do, pay attention to their ages and their look as you're going through the movie, 3 hours plus. Absolutely crazy. It was still pretty cool, and I still bring it up with people when they ask me about The Irishman. Don't lose out on this. Don't sleep on the ability of makeup artists and CGI artists, because they are artists now. What they do with the visual and the ability to manipulate pixels and screens. Okay, so that is like really, really cool, and I think it's going to be... There were techniques that they used that they said that others are now beginning to use, because they were so cutting edge in how they altered age physically on the actors and the characters. Okay, I'm going on there. So we're going to wrap up. Okay, so my number one, I have to say it was, because it was unique and different, but my number one movie on a stream that I watched on Netflix in particular, specifically, was The King. That's it, The King. T-H-E-K-I-N-G. The little dude on the screen, as I was not aware, but my daughter quickly informed me. Timothy Chalamet. Okay, he's just another cutesy little dude that is in a lot of romantic things and chick flicks and like teeny things. Not being disparaging, but those are what they are to me. And I don't know who this guy was. He's an English actor. Classically trained, like a lot of them are, by the way. They don't get to where they are unless they know their business. But I have to admit, this dude is now on my radar, firm and square. I don't give a damn if it's a chick flick, a rom-com, a hoorah, or whatever the hell. After watching this movie, The King, this guy is one of my favorite actors now. Right now. Right now. Okay? I'll give you a quickly. He plays Henry V. In a particular period of English history that I'm a massive fan of. English history is fun anyway, okay? We all kind of know something, right? But this particular period, during the 100 Years' War, and before England had become and solidified its status as a premier power in Europe, they were still rising and upcoming. And we had the issue with the 100 Years' War, which wasn't exactly 100 years. I'll get into that another time if we want to do history. But Henry V was kind of a ne'er-do-well, not particularly motivated young man who rose to the occasion of having to become king after his father bypassed him or chose his brother over him. And by act of fate, act of chance, the brother dies. He ends up being king. And he was a badass king. And I'm not saying because of this movie, but what he did and what he was quite literally, nearly, he was really, really close to becoming the king of both France and England. Not just England, but England and France, because of his maternal lineage and his background, his bloodline, and his relationship with the royal family of France. And he ends up marrying a royal princess of France. So, and that's where all the problems rise with, these wars where you have kings and they're all kind of related to each other. That's another matter. But in particular, and I'll leave you with this last thought, well acted. Yeah, it's not even funny. It's beyond well acted. Incredible acting in the movie. Great character and method actors, great character actors in the respective roles. Some that are, they're not A-list, but they're in all the really good movies right now. You got to get in and go watch that movie. You know exactly what to talk about, what you watch. But here's where it goes. It is a quick snapshot in a battle of military innovation and how innovations in weaponry can alter the course of history. And I think everybody can understand that. I'm giving you the broad general. But the battle depiction of how Henry wins his battle with the Dauphin of France, the French prince, breaks down. I'm not going to give you too much because I want you to go watch this movie. But it breaks down technically in layman's terms. That means all of you guys that are not military or military historians like myself. Breaks down in the layman's terms how you can understand how this battle was won because of the English longbow and because of the mobility advantage of the English over the French knights and cavalry in heavy armor and barding. That's armor for horses. So, like I said, I don't want to get too nerdy on you, but it's badass. It's a great explanation and a great depiction of a strategic, technical, and tactical win by the English over a larger, better armed, more experienced or seasoned force that ended up being one of the most critical battles, at least of the Middle Ages, in the High Middle Ages into the Renaissance period and beyond. It's significant. It's really, really significant. I'm being a historic goon now, historian, but it's a great flick, by the way. And officially, Timothée Chalamet is on my radar. This kid can act. I mean, I was, yeah. And by the way, it's a guy flick too. Great guy flick. I mean, like, yeah, that kind of stuff. It's just a damn good flick, and it's historic, and you'll learn something. Get a little egg-headed from me. You'll learn some history. You'll learn some military strategy. You'll learn some tactics. You'll learn some weaponry issues. You'll learn some armor. You'll learn. Okay, there I go. I've gone on a little bit too much, probably longer than I wanted to, but plenty there for you. So those are my 10. I will post these as usual on my Facebook page, and now I'm getting more used to using the YouTube format. So I'll also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a playlist of trailers for all these movies and name them. So you can go to the YouTube channel and you can specifically like, okay, SuperMex's best streaming movies of 2019 here, SuperMex's top country songs of 2010s over here. Getting better about that. I'm giving you a lot of content, ladies and gentlemen. I'm directing you to good stuff so you don't have to do all that ugly work of wasting time on stuff that isn't good, even though sometimes you should. But my recommendations and the work that I put in to get you something quite literally in product that you're going to enjoy and like, Because, I mean, let's say it. There's a lot of product, a lot of material. Where do you find time to do it all, right? Anyway, so that's it. You guys enjoy this episode. I'm going to be out of town when you're watching this, viewing this. But I'll be back up, and we're going to do, I think we're probably going to do something of similar with this streaming for the 2010s. I'll let you know if I do that. Streaming is bigger now than it was 10 years ago. There wasn't as much. So I'm going to make that decision. But either way, I'm going to have something for you in addition to the wrap-up of the other things that I have to wrap up with you, which is the music of the 2010s, country of the 2010s. We are going to do a show that is the best knockouts of the year, if not the 10s. And then I'm going to do, and I'm really happy to say, I will be able to do a best of 2019 in Spanish music for the year and probably the decade. So I'm giving you a lot. Remember, that decade adds a lot to it, not just the year. But I'm a lot. I am a lot, and so I will give you a lot. Giving is good. So that's the show for tonight. I look forward to seeing you guys maybe on the Friday. I'll let you know. Stay plugged in to the Facebook page, if not the YouTube page. All right? And I will message out there when things are coming to you. Nothing but love for you. Enjoy your evening, and I hope you enjoy this list. Go take a look at some of these movies. They're definitely worth the wait. All right? SuperMex Nation, we are out.